What's up, Knicks Nation? We are back. Back from vacation, man, and we got a lot to talk about. Are the Knicks the best team in the East? Yes. Are the Knicks the best team in the East? We'll also talk about Mike Brown and some things to expect with him taking over the helm at head coach, right? Also, we talk about the new signees, Yabu Sally, Jordan Clarkson. What will they bring to the table? Also, man, listen, no Ben Simmons, please. No Ben Simmons, please. Please do not sign Ben Simmons. We'll talk about that. Of course, we got comments of the week, word on the street, and much more on This Week Inside the Knicks. Welcome everyone to the show. I am your host, Karan Pierre, the Objective fan, straight out of Kings County, New York City's finest. And you know the vibes, y'all. Man, we back off vacation, man. I hope all you guys had a nice holiday weekend. I mean, I had a great holiday weekend. I seen so many family. Man, it was a great time. But I want to salute some people in the building early. Salute to you, Darlene. Salute to you, J-Tap. I see you, Knicks Tape Madness Discord server channel member, Krem's dad, the infamous Krem's dad. Yes, you will be listening to me while you work out. Salute to Randu. I see you in the house. Salute to Danny. Salute to everybody. Of course, how could I forget Knicks will be champs 25-26. I'm still putting the 25-26 because that is the season we're into. Salute to Shoquan, man. Great times, man. I had a great time. I didn't even want to leave, man. Just a lot of family, meeting new family. And, I had a great time over the weekend. Sorry I couldn't get no lives in. There was a lot going on. We couldn't even see everybody that we wanted to see. But, much love to my family in the South. I did get to see Dusty. We talked for a little bit. We were chopping it up, talking about the regular season, what to expect. And, they had the audacity to tell me that the Lakers is better than the Knicks. I'm like, huh? Yeah, that led to a whole crazy debate. I wish I would have had it all on footage, but then I left my tripod at home. So it just made recording anything very difficult, right? But yeah, hopefully you guys had a good 4th of July holiday. The call-up show will return this week, Friday, at 11:15, 10:45. You guys know the time if you guys know the call-up show. But Friday night, we will be back on the call-up show. I have nowhere to be. What else? I'm going to try to sneak in some other late night shows as well. Late nights work good for me. Oh, by the way, salute to still Knicks fans. As I'm getting ready to start this show up, Ryan hits me up about, collabing and seeing if I could come on. I'm going to hit you back, Ryan, after the show. We definitely gonna set somebody up. I set something up. I just want to let you know that. What else? So call up shows back. Trying to think anything, get all this stuff out the way. By the way, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so that way you'll be able to check out more content, especially if you're feeling the video. I do got the subscriber only mode on, so you have to subscribe to chat. But salute to everybody else in the building. Any other announcements? I mean, listen, man, this offseason has been pretty crazy, right? Definitely pretty crazy. We had the first ever 7-team trade. I still don't even remember all the details. So the trade for KD has been expanded to 7 teams. Tyus Jones was signed this morning. Also, the Miles Turner trade. A lot of crazy stuff happened this week. By the way, this week inside the Knicks, episode 5 of the 2025 off season, we'll be talking about all the hot topics between June 30th to July 6th. So some interesting moves went down. And I think that right now there's still moves to be made. The Miami Heat trade just went through. So teams are still making moves. We got to see what Giannis is getting ready to do as well. A lot can happen between now and the regular season. But like the flagship topic today, I think right now, I would say the Knicks is the best team in the East. no worries. We'll get to that. That's gonna be our flagship topic. But I think that's all for the announcements. I'm gonna jump into research mode. So if you're new to this pod, this podcast is also associated with a blog. Hold on, give me 2 seconds while I set it up. This podcast is also associated with a blog called This Week Inside the New York Knicks. And basically, you go to thisweekinsidetheknicks.com and you'll be able to see all of the news that took place between the 30th of June to July 6th, right? It's kind of like a weekly digest, so to speak, where you can get all your Knicks fix. So anything you miss, and I do this all year round, right? I do this all year round. So now that I made this tweak, let me jump out of studio mode. Bam. So now we're in research mode. So I'm going to show you how you get there. So when you get to thisweekinsidetheknicks.com, you'll be on the homepage, right? So all you got to do is scroll down and bam, you'll see the latest news. And this will be episode 5. That's what we're up to right now. And you'll be able to see all the stuff that we're talking about, right? So I'm just going to get right into it. We know that the Knicks had a pretty extensive coaching search that actually went into the moratorium period, which is the period where you could begin negotiating with other teams, free agents, right? Even your own free agents, even though you're allowed to talk, I think before that period officially begins, you're able to talk to your own free agents. So, the Knicks were interviewing some coaches, right? We know the Nori coach out of Minnesota, Borrega, right? Those guys were considered to be the finalists, right? And I remember, if it wasn't on last week's pod, it might have been the pod before last week, where we saw that Mike Brown, he was a strong candidate to get the job, right? Apparently, he wowed them in the interview. He also has the CAA ties. CAA mafia prevails in New York. So those things usually get you a job in New York. And, that's what kind of led to his hire. There was talks about Borrega being selected as an assistant for this team, but it was reported sometime last week that his team did not allow him to go speak with the Nuggets, who also wanted to interview him for an associate coach position, but lateral moves have to be approved by the team. So they denied them. So I don't see them allowing us to sign Borrega as an assistant, but that was the talk. And of course, like I told you guys from day one, Jason Kidd got that extension. I knew it was a play. Yes, I know last week's episode, some of you guys felt like I was kind of, I guess I wasn't as genuine with my title, but I seen the play. They wanted to bring in Kidd because there's a push for Giannis, because Giannis is still rumored or still reported that he wants out. So the Knicks were really trying to see if they can get Jason Kidd away, right? Because all the other coaches, Udoka, right? The other coach, what's his name? Can't remember his name. Anyway, a lot of the other coaches already received their extensions, right? Jason Kidd didn't receive his. And then what made it even more crazy, like I said last week, was that Jason Kidd, no one has even approached him for an extension. But lo and behold, they got the deal done. Like I said, I knew it was a play. I never really thought that we had a clear shot for Jason Kidd, but I knew why we were going after him. And I do think that if we were to get Jason Kidd, that could lead to a Giannis trade. Right? I felt like that was the grand plan. But Mike Brown was announced as the new Knicks head coach. Salute to Mike Brown. Welcome to the team. Listen, I'm going to say this, especially for all the new listeners. I am not somebody who is anti-Hive. I don't like this person. I support everybody that is with the Knicks, right? Everybody. From the coach to the GM, I want them to do well, right? So I'm rooting for Mike Brown to do his thing. He is a good coach. The only thing I didn't want the Knicks to do was sign someone who never coached before. I felt like that was career suicide for anybody that was going to be coming to this city, because you guys, yes, you guys, the Knicks fans, you guys are just, man, you ruthless, man. You're cutthroat. You're going, the minute he messes up, you're going to ask for his head. We seen it, right? We seen the worst of the worst. So I didn't want Johnny Bryant or any of these new coaches to come here and, become a Derek Fisher, right? And become somebody who you never see coach again. So I felt like Mike Brown, Taylor Jenkins, if you can't get Jason Kidd, those guys are the best guys for the job, right? And even still, Mike Brown is a very accomplished head coach, right? He's not somebody who is a fresh face, right? He's been around the block, right? And some of his accomplishments stem from, going to the finals with LeBron James, when being a part of 4 championship teams as an assistant coach, right? He has a winning record. So he's somebody who definitely, I think, is more than capable of doing something to help us push forward and build, right? So I'm not mad. And like for me, right? I don't know if there's a such thing as a right coach. I just think that you got to find the guy who, especially when you're a team like New York, we already have the pieces here. So it's not like a brand new job where you get to build your team. He's going to have to deal with the team that's already been established, which is very difficult to do. So in my mind, you have to get somebody who can adapt to that scenario. So welcome to the Mike Brown era. Salute to Mike Brown. I'm rooting for him to do well. And I do think that there are a lot of things, and we're going to touch on a whole bunch of things with Mike Brown. Some things you might not have heard, some things you might have heard, but there's some things I do want to touch on with this whole Mike Brown signing. You know what? Let's look at some of the pros and cons for Mike Brown. Now, a lot of you guys, especially the guys in the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server, salute to all you guys in the building right now. I see you, Yuri, in the building. I seen some of you other guys in the building, J-Tap in the building. You guys know how I feel. I feel very strongly about how you need stars to win championships, right? Now, not super teams. Some of you guys think that when I say you need a star, you need to have, what some of the other teams in the past had, like what Miami Heat had, Golden State. No, you still need that MVP caliber player, that NBA first team caliber player. So hiring, no matter who you hire, if you don't have that caliber player, it makes it very difficult to win in this league. However, I do think that we have a player in Jalen Brunson that is capable of reaching that level and honestly should have been an All-NBA first team. He definitely was snubbed in 2024. I thought he had a monster year. He definitely was top 5 in MVP voting. I don't understand how he doesn't get, first team honors. Nonetheless, Mike Brown, I think, is somebody who can help us get there, but we're going to talk more about that later, right? So, Coach Tibbs, he coached us to a 51-31 record, right? The positive, we have a win now roster. So, Mike Brown coming here, we already have a team that is really good, right? So, that makes the job easy because when we look at the East, and we're going to talk more about the East later, there's a lot of holes in the East. I do like the trade that Miami made, but I don't know if it'll be enough. But the East, definitely being in the East with this team, I think Mike Brown is in a great position, right? I don't foresee him. Like, here's what I don't foresee. I don't foresee the Knicks falling out of a top 4 seed spot. I just don't see that happening unless you get like some crazy injuries, right? Which is something that can happen and something that we don't want to see happen, right? But definitely the ready to win roster with Brunson, Towns, Mikal Bridges, OG, all that's vital. All of that is vital for success. Some of the negatives is expectations, very high expectations. As some of you guys know, salute to Leon Rose. I love Leon Rose. But it took me 33 years or 30 plus years to come to the realization that the reason why we haven't won the championship has everything to do with the fact that we just don't get star talent in New York. And it's something that we need to address, but we do have very good players. I'm not discounting Brunson and Towns. I love those guys, right? But at the end of the day, the star quality is what's needed to win the championships. And a lot of us have championship expectations, right? And they say roster limitations. I don't agree with the roster limitations. I think that the roster we have is fine. I still would love to get a starting 2-guard. I feel like we need a real 2-guard. Is it Jordan Clarkson? Possibly, right? I mean, it would be a small guard lineup with him and Brunson, but he is that playmaker that we need. I mean, he's a bit of a chuck. We're going to talk more about Jordan Clarkson in a second. But at the same time, I just feel like that's the only hole that we have on this team right now is a 2-guard that can make plays for others with size, preferably. Because Deuce McBride and Jordan Clarkson can play the 2-guard positions for sure, but they're a bit undersized for the 2 guards. When we talk about 2 guards, we're talking about 6'4", 6'5", right? 6'6" and up. So, but I do think the expectations can kind of be a problem, especially in this city, especially if the Knicks are not producing at a top 2 level as we're projected. And we'll talk more about that. Let's see if we get some reactions. So these are the 2 big factors that led to the Knicks hiring Mike Brown. Leadership, I love the leadership part. Collaboration, I'm a little concerned with the collaboration. The reason why I'm a little concerned with the collaboration, and when I'm saying a little bit that's happening right now, because you got to understand, while Leon Rose may not actually be on the hot seat, I say he's on my personal hot seat, right? He's on my personal hot seat. And my personal hot seat is not that I want to see the man fired. It's just that when he says our singular pursuit is a championship, I don't expect anything less. That's really what I'm trying to say. I'm holding him accountable to his quote when he fired Coach Tibbs. And once again, I understand Coach Tibbs, he had to go. So I'm not against, firing Coach Tibbs. He had to go. Once you lose the locker room, it's over. However, that collaboration word kind of gives me, we're going to be into your coaching. We want you to play these guys. We want you to play these guys these minutes. And I think that the same autonomy that James Dolan gave Leon Rose, I think he needs to give Mike Brown that autonomy. So I'm a little iffy with the collaboration. I get it. Yes, working together. Nothing wrong with working together. But when it comes time to playing these guys and giving minutes this way and no play, that I feel like you can destroy a coach if the front office is going to carry themselves that way. So I'm a little concerned about the collaboration, not from the working together like, oh, I want to get this guy. That's fine. But when it impedes on his ability to coach and give him the autonomy that's necessary for him to be creative in these moments, it's a little pause for that. We're going to touch on more on why I say that. But that's 2 of the big reasons why the brother was hired. And I'm glad he got the job. I think he probably might be the best candidate that was available that wasn't signed to another team, right, for the job. So here's another thing, too, that a lot of fans and people are saying. A lot of the critics, and, the critics are funny to me because Coach Tibbs, he had so many detractors, right? So many people spoke out against Coach Tibbs and did not like Coach Tibbs. And now these are the same guys that are dumping on the Mike Brown hiring. We got to see, one thing about me and why you guys are subscribed to the channel is because you guys know even if I change, I'm not just changing because I'm a fair weather fan. I change with the information. I change with the evidence, right? But a lot of times people they're not consistent. So Coach Tibbs was always a good coach. He only had 1 year where he didn't make the playoffs. So a lot of you guys were calling for his job, but now, you let him go. And then now it's Mike Brown is not an upgrade, right? And no, I don't think Mike Brown's an upgrade. I don't think that was the goal, was to get upgrade. right? I think the goal was to avoid a downgrade. And I wouldn't say Mike Brown is a downgrade. I would say if Coach Tibbs is a little higher than Mike Brown, they're still on the same level, right? It's not like Coach Tibbs is that much greater than Mike Brown. Mike Brown has accomplished things that Tibbs didn't accomplish, right? They both got the 2 Coach of the Years, but Mike Brown also went to the finals. Yes, he had LeBron James, right? Yes, he had LeBron James, but Coach Tibbs also had Derrick Rose. Yes, I know Derrick Rose got hurt, but the bottom line is they both had MVP caliber players. He went to the finals. Didn't win the finals, not as a head coach, but I don't think we care about an upgrade. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to upgrade. Coach Tibbs is the 5th best coach in Knicks history. It's going to be hard to upgrade on that. It's going to be hard to upgrade on that. Right? If you want to upgrade on that, you get a superstar. Now you're going to see the upgrade. Right? But once again, I'm not knocking JB. I'm not knocking Towns. I hope, once again, I hope that Towns or Brunson can unlock. I hope Mike Brown can take them to the next level. We'll talk more about that. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think? I'm going to look in the chat in a couple of minutes. And salute to everybody that's in the building. By the way, if you just joined the show, this is This Week Inside the Knicks. We're talking about all the hot topics between June 30th to July 6th, right? And here are some of the topics we're getting to. The flagship topics, the best in the East, Mike Brown hired. That's what we're talking about right now. The new signees, we're going to get to that. No Ben Simmons, please. Definitely going to get to that. And comments of the week and more. So this is what we're talking about right now. I'm gonna jump into a couple of more Mike Brown stuff. But these articles, like I said, all these articles are on the blog thisweekinsidethenix.com if you want to check it out. And, see what you might have missed. But this is a good read, too, if you want to check it out. But some of you guys are saying he's not an upgrade. I don't think we needed an upgrade, right? The upgrade would be the superstar, if you ask me. Here's another point, too, that some people were mentioning. And I did a survey on this on Word of the Street. And basically, the Knicks replaced Tom Thibodeau with the same coach. Strange signing. I wouldn't say that they're the same coach. I don't think that these guys are the same coach, right? I don't think that that's a fair assessment. Because if you ask me, hold on, let's double check something. Sorry about that. If you ask me, right, they're different. They're more different than they are alike. I'm gonna touch on some of the differences a little later as well, but Mike Brown, from what I'm hearing, he's more of an offensive coach. Tibbs is more defensive centered, right? Now both guys can do both. Hold on, let me get my light back, guys. Hold on, 2 seconds. My bad, yeah. Yeah, I had to get my light back. It shut off. Anyway, to just try to figure out where I left off at. I was just saying that I said Mike Brown's more offensive centered. Tibbs is more defensive centered, but they both can do both, right? Tibbs has had teams that had top offenses. We were a top 5 offense last year with Tibbs. So I don't think that they're the same coach. I don't think no coach is the same as any coach, except like guys who spent a lot of years under each other. So like if you get somebody like Spoelstra at Raleigh, right? Spoelstra spent a lot of time under him, so there's going to be a lot of similarities because that's the guy he learned from. But I don't understand this right here. So but also, even if let's say they are the same coach, right? Let's say they are the same coach. That's a good thing because Tibbs did a lot of good. So if he can do what Tibbs did, and because now he's a different voice, he has the player's ear, right? He's willing to use the bench more because that's what this team cares a lot about. That would be also a good thing. So I don't understand the knock on the same, even though I don't think they're the same. But even if they were the same, that actually would be beneficial because Tibbs did a lot of good. Let me look into the chat, see who's in the building, man. Crim's dad said Tibbs was benched. Stop, Crim's dad. Knicks will be chance. We can see what you're talking about. Mike Brown is a tear up on Tibbs in terms of offensive coaching. Yeah, I agree with that. I would say Tibbs. I would give Tibbs the defense and Mike Brown the offense. Hopefully, my mic's not too loud. Turn down a little bit. Yeah, I agree with that. Knicks will be champs. I agree with that. That would be a fair assessment. Cribs that said I wanted this Tibbs scout, but I'm fine with any coach that play the bench, create offensive plays and game plans. Okay, not bad. Salute to my man Keith Watkins, man. Hopefully you're doing well out of the ATL. No, you didn't miss much. I'm just getting into some Mike Brown stuff. Just uncovering some things about him. Some things you may have known, some things you may have not known. Salute to Tori B in the building. All right, man. Chat's a little lit, man. I see you, and I also see you, Yuri, in the building as well. Yes, I supported Dave Fizdale, Yuri. In fact, like most of you guys, I was happy they got Dave Fizdale. He was a great assistant, right? People said that he was very smart, good basketball mind, and it just didn't turn out right. It just didn't turn out right. Yeah, unfortunately. All right, so let me keep it moving, y'all. Keep the chats coming. I'm gonna be cooking. There's a couple of more Mike Brown stuff I want to touch on. I want to touch on. I didn't get to do a show on this last week. I really wanted to. Now here's where I was hinting towards earlier, where I said collaborations concerns. So he will evaluate his option as he gets going. Talk about Mike Brown, but as things sorts out now, I strongly expect Rick Brunson, Darren Erman, Mark Bryant, and Maurice Cheeks to end up on Brown's staff. How the staff looks will ultimately be his call. See that right there? I don't know, but I'd be surprised if the names mentioned above don't end up on the staff. Now, yes, Mike Brown was fired, right? So sometimes when guys get fired, they have to rebuild because, your other staff might have jobs elsewhere. They might like it where they are, whatever. So you're never going to bring 100% of your staff. Granted, that's I understand that. I'm not saying that he needs to bring all the guys that was with him. Not saying that. But if he did want to bring all those guys that was with him, I feel like you should give him a shot. You're giving them a big bag to coach your team. You want him to do his best job. He needs to do it with his guys. He don't know these guys. Who are these guys to Mike Brown? These are not his guys. So, but at the same time, Rick Brunson, Jalen Brunson, that's his son. So I don't think Mike Brown would be opposed to having Rick Brunson stay on the staff, but I don't expect him to be the top assistant. He would have to get demoted, which, I did an unfiltered thought on, Jalen Brunson, how he holds no weight. This we'll see. We'll see how much weight he holds depending on what happened with Rick Brunson, okay? But Mark Bryant, the big man coach, that's a special position. So I wouldn't be opposed to Mark Bryant coming back. But Mo Cheeks, does he have any connections with Mike Brown? I don't know. Maybe they do. I don't know. But clearly these would be the front office picks because I also think Mark Bryant was a front office pick. That wasn't a Coach Tibbs pick, right? So we'll see. But if they're forcing him to keep these guys, that could be a problem. I don't know. I'm getting mixed messages. I'm hoping that he's allowed to have his staff. Because if you want him to cook up a nice meal, you got to allow the chef to have his own ingredients and make it how he wants to make it, right? You buy the ingredients, but you got to allow him to do his thing. You can't just be coming in there, changing things up. So here's another thing I know you guys would like you guys would like to see the extended rotations under Mike Brown. By the way, like I said, all these articles are on the blog, right? On the episode. So I'm not going to read the entire article, but so a lot of it's news. A lot of it is just good takes, interesting stories, the interesting angles we can take. But here, the reason why I like this article, right? And this is a Sports Plus article. They give some different rotations that you can see. How would you guys like this lineup? Not to start, but just to see it in the game. Brunson, McBride, Hart, Yabusele, and Towns. Right? That's a lineup that he can run. You got perimeter defense with McBride and Hart, the rebounding component with Hart, Yabusele, and Towns, the high energy with Hart, Yabusele. Could you imagine Hart and Yabusele out there together going crazy? Man, I can't wait to see it. Right? Pick and roll combo with Towns and Brunson. Only thing you're missing, the rim protection. Okay. How about this one? McBride, Clarkson, Bridges, OG, and Robinson. These are some of the rotations with this deep bench that we do have now that I'm curious to see, how Mike Brown mixes it up. I'm very, very curious to see what happens. Just a lot of opportunities and possibilities with different rotations. Jalen, Brunson, Bridges, Anunoby, Yabusele, Robinson, right? This is a defensive lineup right here with Brunson giving you the scoring, spearheading the offense, right? So a lot of different. What are some of the lineups you want to see? Not necessarily starting lineups, but what are some? And I might talk about the starting lineup a little later. But what are some of the lineups you look forward to seeing? Doesn't necessarily have to be started. I'm curious to see. Put it in the chat. Let me know. So, we'll see what Mike Brown does. It's a brand new team. Even though we got a lot of the same guys from last year, it's a brand new team. Once you got a new coach, new system, brand new everything. Brand new everything. I mean, he could keep some of the elements from last year, but I don't expect to see last year's lineup continue. With Hart, at least. Let's see. Different rotations. Let's see. Okay, so look, this is another thing. A lot of you guys criticize Coach Tibbs. Here's something different from Mike Brown. In Sacramento, Brown would feel feedback from his assistants enthusiastically. Though they had to prepare first, the coaching staff understood that any suggestion that Brown would come with follow-up questions, not for the sake of defiance, right? But because their boss wanted to test their preparation. He expects the same attention to detail from his staff that he requires from himself. So, and I'm gonna show you how tedious he is, right? In this next one, Mike Brown, he's very meticulous. He is somebody who, listen to this. He color codes his plays, often carrying various pens, a red one, a blue one, a black one, right? So he can diagram them as clearly as possible. When he was with the Warriors, he would categorize pens in his locker by their colors just to mess with him. Other coaches would switch them around. I hate that. Removing a red pen from his intuitive group and placing it blue ones. Yeah. So look, I do the same thing, guys. That's why I'm reading this. I'm very meticulous with mine. I got the red pen, the blue pen, the brown pen, the black pen. And when Maxine comes over here and messes with my pens, man, I get so mad. Oh my God. So, the brother, he's, that's Coach Tibbs like, talk about some of the similarities. This brother is very meticulous, right? He's somebody that he pays attention to detail. So I'm curious to see how that also pans out. All right, let me see what else I'm going to touch on. Okay, so yeah, this is another really good article too. Talking about offense, like Knicks will be Chan said in the chat earlier. He feels like he's an upgrade to Coach Tibbs via the offense. And I agree. I think that Mike Brown could be considered more of an offensive coach and Tibbs more of a defensive coach. So, yeah, here's some of the changes that he's made from an offensive standpoint, right? Because the Knicks, we was number 2 in offense, and then we plummeted, right, to number 22. So our offense took a big hit. Part of that had to do with Brunson missing about 15 games. That's gonna kill your offense. Nobody talks about that. And then Mitchell Robinson coming back, right? So he increased the defensive intensity. but the offense has suffered. But here's some of the things that Mike Brown to expect with Mike Brown: more passes and more assists. For all my people, that's not a part of the Brunson dribble club, right? Mike Brown, he's somebody who is going to have more passing, right? A lot of you guys were upset with Jalen Brunson and the amount of times that he dribbled in his first season, right? The Kings delivered the 4th most passes and were 3rd in assists, right? That was his first season with theirs. So we know the Knicks were 11th in assists this past season. He can get us into the top 5. I could see a growth in our assists, that increasing, more passes, more assists, more ball movement, right? So also the pace didn't necessarily go up. So they were 9th in pace, but it went down to 12th, then 14th, then 19th. So maybe this Knicks team with Brunson and Towns is not necessarily geared to be the fastest team, but if we can play at a faster pace, right, maybe getting the middle of the pack in pace, that could also help. But so we don't necessarily have to become a faster team, but you will see more passes under Mike Brown, right? Also, look, there was a boost in cutting. They went from 7.4% to 8.8% in his first season. So more cutting. So OG Anunoby, I expect him to be a backdoor maestro, right? Bridges, maybe he needs to cut more as well, right? I expect to see more cutting. Now, more threes, right? So the Gentry Walton Kings ranked 21st in 3-point attempts. We knew that Tibbs wanted us to shoot more threes as well. But when Browns first came, their threes went up to 6th. So expect more threes, right? And also, here's another thing, and I'm going to touch on this later when I get to the 5 reasons we're going to crush the East, but individual improvement amongst the stars, right? Under Thibodeau, Brunson emerged across 3 seasons as a capable starter to a All-NBA second-team franchise star. I would love to see if Mike Brown could get him to a first team. I would love to see it. Towns, 3rd team, right? I would love to see Towns get to a second team. Anything is possible. So how did De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis perform under Brown? Fox 3-point shooting improved from a career 32% to 35%. Brunson's already shooting pretty good from the 3-point land. So if he could help Brunson get his threes up, that's even going to be even more crazy. Sabonis improved his shooting efficiency and rebounding, right? And his playmaking. Hey, maybe Towns becomes a bona fide playmaker under Mike Brown's system, right? But these are some of the improvements. Like I said, if you want to read this article, you can. All of these articles are on the blog this week inside the Knicks.com. So those are some of the things to expect when it comes to offense with Mike Brown, right? And let me see. It's a lot here. Also, I'm going to talk about the money. So the Knicks, they will be committing $70 million over the next 4 years to 2 coaches. Coach Tibbs was getting 3 years, 30. Mike Brown, the 4 years, 70. So they will be paying both those brothers handsomely. And Coach Tibbs, he could relax and chill on the beach. If I'm Tibbs, I wouldn't take no jobs this year. I would just take the year off and next year, go see about some jobs. But that's all for Mike Brown. The Mike Brown side of the house. There's more, like I said, there's a lot of articles here. There's 41 articles here. So yeah, every single piece of news regarding Mike Brown joining the Knicks, I got here, right? And so as you guys know, if you been watching the channel, I definitely read every single piece of Knicks news. Let me see what you guys talk about in the chat before I move on. HRM, that dude, second team in Summer League. Okay. Diarra. You talking about Diarra? Oh, God. We're not talking about Diarra, man. Listen, the young guys, I love it. The OG Knicks fan, I was talking to him while we was down south. He was saying how, developing the young guys, having a future there while we contend is a beautiful thing. But I don't really care about the young guys today. Summer League didn't start yet. We could talk more about the young guys next week. Let's see. Let's see what else you guys talking about. E. Gibson. I see Brown being more versatile in the lineup and go deeper into the bench. Yeah. I think that's in the contract. And salute to you, Coach. Salute to you, coach. I see you in the building, man. Knicks Tape Madness Discord server, one of the first channel mods. Salute to you, brother. Also, salute to AP, same thing, in the building, one of the first channel mods. Let's see. How was Rose able to change this team with no money? Rose is a great GM. He's a great, even though he's on my hot seat, that has not my hot seat, he's not on James Dolan's hot seat, for the record. He's on my hot seat, right? I still think he's a great GM. And that's why he's on my hot seat, because he says our singular focus is to win the championship. I believe in Leon Rose, and I don't want to see nothing less. So I'm just holding him accountable. Still the JJP NYC, I see you, brother. All right. Before I continue, I took all the merch down south, but I do want to show you guys the shop. To all the people who may have not seen it, who may have seen it, yeah, I'm gonna show it to you again, man. Definitely check out shop.thisweekinsidethenix.com and check out some of the merch we got there, man. We got some cool stuff. I'm representing for Captain 11, Jalen Brunson, Bodega Cat. We got these mugs and shirts, right? Everybody loved the shirts. Listen, I wore these shirts every day while I was down south. Man, the people was like, yo, where did you get this shirt? They loved it. Definitely go to shop.thisweekinsidethenix.com. Get a Bodega mug. The mugs are fire too. The mugs are the best seller, right? This is the Bodega Cat mug. I actually got it up here. Wow. Right? They got bigger ones too. They got 11 ounces, 15 ounces, 12 ounces. Definitely go check it out. But the number one selling mug, though, the number one selling mug is the Captain 11 mug. This mug right here, I don't know what it is, but people love the Captain 11 mug, man. Go check it out on thisweekinsidethenix.com. And yeah, and by the way, if you are a channel member, right, and a lot of you guys know this, you get a discount on all the merch as well. All right. And I'll talk more about the channel memberships later. Let me continue, because I spent a lot of time on Mike Brown. And there's much more to talk about. We're also going to talk about these topics here. Let me put it on the screen so you can see it. The best in the East. We're going to talk about the new signees, right? That's what we're going to talk about right now. And please, no Ben Simmons, right? And comment of the week and much more. So there's a lot more to talk about, guys. I'm going to move a little faster. But, Mike Brown, that really was the news this week. I'm going to keep it real. And, of course, the signing of Yabu Sally and Jordan Clarkson, which was two damn good signings. But Landry Shamet, what happens to Landry Shamet? I feel like Landry Shamet was looking to get some exception money. And right now, because all the money's kind of dried up, I think a lot of teams already used the exception money. You might have the Nets that might still have a couple of dollars, right? Teams like that. But those teams seem to be frugal, like they're not looking to spend that much more money on talent. Where does Landry Shamet go? Where does he go? Is he willing to come back on the minimum? Because Yabu Sally's deal, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, and I even go to Sports Track to show it. Yabu Sally freed up money for us to sign a rookie minimum contract and a veteran minimum. So I'm pretty sure the Knicks would be willing to take Landry Shamet back. But I feel like he was probably seeking out a little bit more money than the veteran minimum. I'm curious to see what happens with Shamet. There were some other teams, I think the Lakers, a couple of other teams were interested in Shamet. We'll be looking to see where he goes. There was interest in Tyus Jones too, but he was signed by the Orlando Magic. And this is why, listen, rumors, you can't just dismiss rumors. Like, I mean, these guys, these reporters, people look down on the reporters, but these guys really do have sources. Like, Mike Brown was the favorite to be the Knicks coach for like 2 weeks before he became the Knicks head coach, right? So they said the Knicks are expected to join Orlando and registering interest on Tyus Jones. Well, guess what? Tyus Jones signed with the Orlando Magic this morning. So, you can say what you want about the reporters. They be on the money. Now, I do want to talk about Yabu Sally. Oh, hold on. Before I get to Yabu Sally, Russell Westbrook, I mean, I hope we don't go in this direction, right? And a lot of the Westbrook talk was before Clarkson. So I think once they signed Clarkson, that put an end to the Russell Westbrook stuff. But yeah, please, we don't need Russell Westbrook. I don't want Chris Paul. Sorry, no thank you. If there's something else I would want from free agency, I would just go get Landry Shamet. I don't think free agency has what we need. We need a starting two guard. If it isn't Jordan Clarkson, we need a two guard that could get buckets and make plays for others. Jordan Clarkson can do it. Definitely can do it. But defense, I don't know if Mike Brown wants to start him. We're going to talk about starting lineups in a second, but I'm just glad Russell Westbrook is out of there, right? Let me close these tabs. Now we could talk about Yabu Sali, right, and Jordan Clarkson. So Yabu Sali joined the Knicks on a 2-year deal. Now, a lot of you guys, especially if you've been watching the pod since last season, I've wanted Yabu Sali last year. I said, yo, we need Yabu Sali. They was trying to talk to his teammate on the French team, Marc Lassault or something like that. Sorry if I butchered his name. And you guys know I'm not good with international names. But when they were talking to him, I said, no, go get Yabu Sali. What are we doing? We could have had Yabu Sali last season. Oh, my God. But I love Yabu Sali, the Yabu Sali move. I thought it was a solid move. I think he's exactly what we need. You can start him. You can play him at the 4-5. He stretches the floor. He plays defense. He's strong. He has a 7'1" wingspan. Man, salute to Yabu Sali. Welcome to New York. Everybody who joins the Knicks automatically get my support. I don't care who it is, right? Even Ben Simmons. I'm saying no to Ben Simmons. I'll get to that in a second, right? But Yabu Sali, this is one of the best signings in the offseason, like mid-level signings. Of course, not, big signings, but I'm talking mid-level signings. This is probably one of the best mid-level signings in the offseason. He fits exactly what we needed. We needed a real power forward, and that's exactly what he is. He is a real power forward. Matter of fact, let's look at his basketball reference really quick. He is somebody who, in my opinion, and I'm not even going to try to spell his name. I'm just going to go to the Sixers. But he's somebody who brings toughness, right? He brings athleticism, right? He's one hell of an athlete. And he's just perfect for what we need. Great height, great length in terms of his wingspan, even though he doesn't have the greatest height. I think he's 6'7", 6'8". I even seen reports of 6'6", but he's around that height. I don't see his name. Yabu Sali. Damn, they had 28 players last year. That's crazy. Am I in the right year? Yeah, 23. No, I'm in the wrong year. Duh. Okay. Yabu Sali. Why did Sixers be having so many players? They had 30 players on their team last year. Anyway, who cares about the Sixers? They're terrible. So look, this is what he averaged last year. 11 points a game, 5.6 rebounds, right? Even gave you 2 assists. He's shooting 72% from the free throw line. You see that? 61% from 2-point land, right? He shot 4 threes a game. He's shooting 38% from 3. Man, he's shooting 50% from the field. Hey, Yabu Sali, man, I'm telling y'all right now, don't be surprised if that brother's starting. I'm saying it right now. Don't be surprised if that brother is starting in October for the Knicks. Don't be surprised. All right? I'm warning you. So I also got here, this is some information on the contract. So Yabu Sali, his contract gave the Knicks some wiggle room. He took less than the 5.7, so that way the Knicks could sign another veteran player to a minimum contract and also potentially get a rookie on a minimum contract. There's a way to finagle it. You know what? Let me go to the sports track. I'm going to go to the Knicks sports track. But Yabu Sali, he's already giving team-friendly deals. I loved the signing. I always thought that brother was the right fit for us. So right now, I know it says $5.8 million in second April space. Is not accounting for the 2.2. So you got to minus the 2.2 from the 5.8. That'll give you roughly 3.6, 3.7. So the Knicks had $3.7 million. We have to sign 2 more players, right? So by him signing for the low, like what he did, the Knicks could sign a veteran minimum and sign a rookie minimum contract. Salute to Yabusali sacrificing some of the 5.7 so we can get that deal done, right? And then, of course, then we signed Jordan Clarkson as well to a minimum contract after he was bought out. Now, let me say this about the Utah Jazz, right? The Utah Jazz, you guys are funny because there was rumors that the Knicks had interest in trading for Jordan Clarkson last season, right? But you guys did not want to trade with the Knicks. Find yourself having to buy the brother out. And now he comes to New York for nothing. Salute to the Utah Jazz for dropping the ball like they always do. I seen a report saying they want 2 first-round picks for Walker Kessler. What the hell did Walker Kessler do for you to get 2 first-round picks? Can you please tell me what the Walker? He's a solid young player. I like him. But no one is giving you 2 first-round picks for Walker. Not even the Lakers, the desperate Lakers before they got Ayton would have gave you 2 first-round picks for Walker Kessler. So they dropped the ball, letting this brother walk, going to a contender in New York, which a team that Danny Ainge hates, right? He hates the Knicks. He's a Celtic. So now we get your boy for nothing. Salute to you, man. I appreciate the stupidity, Danny Ainge. I'm curious to see how long you got in Utah. They brought you there hoping you would change their franchise around. Utah Jazz are a laughing stock in the NBA. Let's keep it real. They're a laughing stock. You don't know what the hell you're doing. It looks like you don't know what the hell you're doing. And you let this brother come to us. But now let me tell you what Jordan Clarkson is going to give to us. And you know what? We're going to do him the justice like we did Yabusali. By the way, he signed on a veteran minimum because he was bought out. Even though Jordan Clarkson had to give up the $3.6 million back to Utah, he still was willing to pick up an additional 3.6 from the Knicks. So he got that money back. Hold on. Let me show you. And now I'm going to go to his basketball reference. So look. So yes, the cap hit is 2.2 veteran minimum, but his base salary is 3.6. So he gave back Utah 3.6, but he got 3.6 from the Knicks. Salute to Jordan Clarkson for getting all his money and coming to the Knicks. Hey man, Leon Rose, Brock Aller, we do good business over here. I'm gonna pull up his basketball reference. Why Jordan Clarkson was a guy who I always wanted. Right? We did many shows talking about Jordan Clarkson. A lot of you guys did not like Jordan Clarkson. Oh, he don't play defense. He's a chuck. Yes, the two may be true, but the brother's averaging 16 points off the bench. All right, he's only shooting 40% from the field. He got to get his field goal percentage up. Not too worried about that because he's a gunner. He's shooting 36% from 3. Listen, his job is to just get buckets. Now playing with Deuce McBride and the Knicks, and hopefully I think we have a top-ranked offense. I expect to see his efficiency to go up. Right, he's going to be with some quality players. I could see him on the floor with Brunson, right? So making his job a lot more easier. So I expect Jordan Clarkson's efficiency to go up a lot. But even if you want to be a stickler for his shooting percentage, you're still getting somebody for the veteran minimum that was averaging 16 points a game. He's exactly what we need on this team and in this locker room, right? I love the move, right? I love the move. He was a 6th man of the year. You get a legitimate 6th man. Every team, right, that wants to contend, you need a 6-man caliber player. And that's exactly what Jordan Clarkson is. That's exactly who he is. 80% from the line, right? He's also on the low giving you 3.7 assists. But let's not stop there. 5 assists, right? He was giving you 5 assists in Utah before, right? And 4 assists. Now, health has been an issue more so in recent times, but he's coming off the bench. So, and like I said, once again, it's a veteran minimum deal. He should be fine in New York. I'm not worried about that. right? It's not like we need him to start. So I love the Jordan Clarkson move. He's a bona fide bucket getter. I expect his efficiency to go up. And if he misses time, it's not the end of the world. He's a backup. So those are the two moves there. Let me see how. Okay. Let me get to some. I'm gonna get to one hot topic I want to touch on, and then I'm gonna talk about Ben Simmons, and then we'll get into Flagship. All right. Then we'll get into Flagship. Let me see what you guys talking about in the chat before I move on. Yes, Coach Danny is playing himself out. He is. Oh yeah, and yeah, Ace Bailey is gone, bro. I don't think Ace Bailey makes it the first 4 years, and that's another thing too, Danny. You draft a dude who don't want to come to Utah. Guys, he really thinks he can convince Ace Bailey that Utah is the place. Okay. That's going to be a train wreck. Salute to On Dios, the Supermod. Check him out on IG. I appreciate you, On Dios. NYK. Definitely get the likes up. Nick Shack says Yabu is the bigger pickup. Okay. All right. I respect. I hope so. Hey, I think they're both going to be good. If Yabu's the bigger pickup, because I can see Yabu starting, and that might get some of you guys mad. Oh, let me see some of the lineups. No, Coach, no Ben Simmons, please. Please. I do not want Ben Simmons. I'm getting ready to tell you why. Coach says, Mitch, Jordan Clarkson, Yabu, Deuce. Why do you keep talking about Diarra? Diarra is not getting no minutes, Coach. Diarra's not getting no. I'm sorry. Salute to Diarra, but he's not getting no burn, bro. He's not getting no burn. I'm sorry. He gotta really be excellent. So Coach, this brother Diarra better ball out in summer league. If he don't do nothing in summer league, not that summer league is the end all be all, but if you gonna be in the rotation, you gotta be a baller, bro. I don't foresee that happening. All these rooks need to play defense first. I hear you, HIM. Yeah, I really want to talk about the rookies. Hold on, what day is that? The 10th is what day is the 10th? The 10th is Thursday. That's the first Knicks game, right? We might do something Thursday night. We might do something Thursday night for the summer league because y'all guys are really in the summer league. J-Tap said, Bill, anyone? Was Bill waived? Was Bradley Bill waived? Was Bradley Bill? Hold on, let me look into that real quick, guys. Was Bradley Bill waived? I don't see it on my feed, or it doesn't mean it didn't happen. Bradley Bill. No, he doesn't play no defense. Sadu says we got 23 players. You talking about the summer league guys? Too many players that have to get minutes, even if you go 10 deep. Well, we'll see what Mike Brown does. We don't have no idea what Mike Brown's going to do. JJP says, yeah, he's not a fan of the Westbrook signing. Yeah, me either. I think I'd rather just bring Shaman back. Friday's the first game? Hold on, the Knicks play Friday? Not the 10th? That's good because I got the call-up show. So if they play on Friday, then that's what we'll talk about. We got the call-up show on Friday. Hold on. Knicks Summer League schedule. Let's see. I thought it was the 10th. Pull it up, right? Oh yeah, Friday. All right. So perfect. So yeah, I got the call-up show. So I don't got to do a show Thursday. So yeah, so Friday we got the call-up show. That's perfect. Right after the game, we'll talk about the Summer League game. That's fine. That's fantastic. Sunday's another game at 5:30. Okay. Tuesday. All right. Maybe Tuesday we might do a Tuesday night show. We'll see. I'm going to do more night shows because I'm great at night. Sorry if you're not a vampire. I'm a vampire. All right, let me keep it moving. There's one hot topic I'm going to talk about. Then I'm going to talk about Ben Simmons because Ben Simmons, man, y'all, yeah. Smoking hot topics. why Knicks should not entertain Mitchell Robinson trade. So right now, we don't know what's up with Mitchell Robinson and think. Oh, by the way, if you just if you're watching the show and you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, right? Hit the like button so more cool Knicks fans can see the show. And also, if you're a subscriber, consider joining the channel. I will tell you why you should join a little bit later. Well, I will tell you what you get when you join a little bit later. Salute the Knicks will be champs, man. I got your message. I'm sorry, Knicks will be champs. Still Knicks fans. Sorry. Salute to still Knicks fans. I got your text. I'm gonna text you after the show, man. Car's dad, yes, Darlene. Okay, cool. So let me move forward now. Now I can move forward. All right. So right now, Mitchell Robinson and Mikal Bridges, those two guys are in a very interesting place. Leon Rose shows you that he has no issues with chipping you out of here if you don't sign your extension, right? Some guys don't even get the extension, Julius Randle. I got an unfiltered thought coming about Julius Randle. But anyway, so some guys, they don't even get the contract. But the Knicks should not entertain a Mitchell Robinson trade. I'm gonna say this, man. I'm still for doing trade. Look, if we can get somebody that can really help the roster, I'm doing the trade. So no one is untouchable except for Brunson and Towns unless we get Giannis, right? So you get Giannis, no one's untouchable. But everybody else can go in a deal, bro, including Bridges, right? If these guys are not giving us the discount we want, because, hey, maybe Leon Rose wants to try to stay under the second apron for a little bit longer, they got to go. This is a new team. Everything you seen last year is over, guys. No, there's no running it back with a new coach. It's a new system. Everything is new. Some of you guys got this Diarra kid. I don't know nothing about him, but some of you guys got him in the rotation next year. I don't see that happening, but hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, so if there's a trade that makes sense, we're doing the deal, especially if he's not willing to bend on the extension. Because let's keep it real, guys. You guys willing to give him his max, 4-year, $80 million? Does Mitchell Robinson, I'm saying not that he deserves it. Salute to Mitch. I hope he gets all his money. It's not about deserving it. It's about what you would do if you were in this position. And we got to work out a deal. Hey, just give me another 2 years then. Let's do 2 years, 32 or something like that. But we got to, work that out. But I'm not for this whole notion of not trading anybody. And Mikal Bridges, same thing. Bro, hey, you better give us a deal, or else you be on that ship out of here, because we need a 2-guard anyway. we need a 2-guard that could play defense anyway, right? But yeah, that's my thought on Mitch. I want to talk about Ben Simmons, right? Do I got the article on Ben Simmons? There's been a lot of talks on Ben Simmons, and we should get Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, he would help us a lot. Ben Simmons this, Ben Simmons that. Listen, man. A lot of you guys are living in the Ben Simmons dream world, where you think that Ben Simmons is the same guy, right, that was giving you, I'm not even going to go at his best years. I'm going to give you this year, right? When he played 58 games that last year in Philly, forget the playoffs, before the playoffs. The last year in Philly, when he averaged 14, right, he averaged 7 rebounds and 7 assists. You think you're going to get this guy. What I'm trying to tell you guys is this guy right here, he no longer exists. I love Ben Simmons. I love all the brothers that's hooping, right? I don't root for anybody in the NBA to do bad. I want to see every single guy do well. That's why when Halliburton got hurt, I felt bad, even though he's a pacer. But I don't take things out like that on the players, right? Like I don't take things like that out on the players, right? Because he's just a player in the game. I don't like the Pacers. But Halliburton, yeah, he's annoying, but I don't want to see him get hurt. But Ben Simmons, okay, this is where we are. This is the reality of Ben Simmons. 18 games, 2 points, okay, about 4 rebounds and 3 assists. That's what you're getting. You're not getting no more from Ben Simmons than this. Some of you guys going to say, well, hey, that's good. That's good. No. If we want to have the #1 ranked offense, and this is also to bring it back to Mitchell Robinson, why I'm like, look, if there's a deal for Mitchell Robinson that makes sense where I could get a good center in return or a different center or, maybe a different style, someone who can actually make free throws. Because where I'm looking at it right now, what it looks like to me is we're like not saying screw defense, but I think we're putting all our eggs into trying to be the #1 offense in basketball. That's where I think we are with this team. I'm not saying we're saying screw defense, but if you cannot produce on the offensive end, you're a liability. So yes, we know that Ben Simmons, he's a good defender, right? He's made All-NBA defensive team, right? He's 6'10". I love height. He was a point guard. I don't think he's a point guard anymore. Also, veteran minimum, I get it, right? But you can get another guy, like, to me, even Landry Shamet gives us more than Ben Simmons. Yes, we know Landry Shamet dislocated his shoulder, but outside of that, he's been durable. Ben Simmons, on average, 18 games. Look, he's not even, dude, if you look at the last 6 years, he's only played more than 50 games one time. 50 games one time. Now, his injury, his back, he has a bad back, right? We know the bad back is bad, but his back injury is not like, it's not a career-ending kind of injury, right? It's not that bad. But mentally, the brother is not here. Mentally, he's not strong enough for New York City, man. The fans are going, oh my God, you guys are ruthless. You guys know it. The first time Ben Simmons throws up a hook shot air ball, y'all gonna kill him. He's not looking at the basket, bro. You 6'10". We do not need Ben Simmons in New York. He played 90 games in 3 seasons with the Nets. What are we doing? Mike Brown, from what it looks like, wants offense. Ben Simmons is not giving you that. Don't give me the crap about assists. No. It's not. For me, it's not good enough. For you, it might be. But I don't think that Ben Simmons is the right go. You already got a good size, right? You got Mitchell Robinson, Ariel Hukporti, Yabu Sali, right? Maybe a Nanji, one of these young boys. You got enough big guys, right? You got enough guard depth. I mean, what, Ben Simmons, he could be a power forward maybe, but I'm just not feeling Ben Simmons, bro. He's not even going to be there anyway. He's going to be on the bench sitting in the suit. So it's not like he's a good, I'm not saying he's not a good locker room. I've never been in a locker room with him, but what leadership would he bring off the bench like a PJ Tucker? I know we let PJ Tucker go, but I would even rather have PJ Tucker there because at least we know he's going to deal with mindset and helping the guys from a mental capacity. Ben Simmons, he struggles with that. You're going to have to coach him and give him the confidence. We don't need a 6'10" dude that's scared to make a layup, bro. We don't need a 6'10" dude that is terrified at shooting the 3-ball. So no, I don't want Ben Simmons. Sorry. Don't want him. I'm good. I'm going to jump into Flagship now, man. So Flagship is, I'm going to give you the 5 reasons, all right? I'm going to give you the five things, the 5 reasons why we're going to crush the East. 5 reasons why we're going to crush. First off, when we look at the Eastern Conference, and the best way to do this, I'm going to go to NBA.com. No, I don't want to go to NBA.com. I'm gonna go to ESPN. The best way to do is to, because I just don't like the way NBA.com stats look. I'd rather go ESPN. Anyway, so look, we're gonna go to last year's standings, all right? And we're gonna dissect the East. Not that next year is gonna be just like this year, but okay, cool. So when you look at the Eastern Conference, right? Cleveland Cavaliers is gonna be there. Will they be number 1 seed with 60 wins? I don't know, but they're gonna be up there, right? Boston Celtics is cooked, like I told y'all. Salute to all the channel members. Y'all know I did the unfiltered thought saying how we crushed Boston total. Everything that I said in the video has come true. KP out of there, right? Drew Holiday out of there, right? Considering trading Jaylen Brown, not saying they're going to do it, but they're trying to get under the luxury tax. Not forget the apron. They're trying to get under the luxury tax. They spent well over $200+ million last year alone in luxury tax. They would have faced the same fate if they didn't do the salary dump deals to remove KP and to remove Drew Holiday. They didn't bring Luke Cornett back. Salute to Luke Cornett. He went to wherever he went. Don't remember where he went, but I think he got a $40 million bag. Salute to Luke Cornett. I'm gonna give him a salute because he was once a Knick. So I love to see Boston fall. Gone. Of course, you got us Pacers without Miles Turner. Without Miles Turner, he bolted and went to the Bucks, which is a weird move. But hey, Pacers is cooked. They got Jay Huff. Yo, it's funny, right? I went to my pops. I said, yo, do you know who Jay Huff is? He said, who the hell is that? I said, exactly. Exactly. Right? Not that, of course, most of you guys are hardcore fans, so you guys would know who Jay Huff is. But, you know, the Pacers are not scaring nobody next year. Milwaukee Bucks, Miles Turner, Giannis, they'll be interesting, right? I'm just curious to see how they pick up the pieces at the 1 spot. And just their perimeter defense is still going to be weak to me, the Bucks. But we'll see what happens with it. They still got Giannis, right? Still got Giannis. Detroit Pistons, I expect them to be a little bit better, but I don't think they're going to be, you know, that dangerous, more dangerous than they were last year. They didn't make the moves that I thought they would make, but they still got most of their young core coming back. I think they also got, no, they don't got Walker. They got somebody else they signed. They lost Beasley with the whole allegations, but Pistons, I think Pistons will be solid. Pistons will definitely be in the top 6. The Orlando Magic are a top 3 team to me. I think the Orlando Magic is a team that we need to watch out for. They got a crazy starting 5 with Bane and Suggs. I love their guards. Incredible. And they just got Tyus Jones. Salute to the Duke Blue Devils. But they got some Duke power on that roster. They got, of course, Paolo Banchero, the first overall pick with Wagner. Is that Franz? Yeah, Franz Wagner. And Mo Wagner comes off the bench. He re-signed too. So they got all their guys coming back. Orlando Magic, they're going to be a tough team. Miami Heat made the trade. They got Norm Powell. Miami Heat got Norm Powell. So they're going to have him, Wiggins, Hero. Do they still got Bridges? I wonder if they still got Bridges. Not Bridges. They had Rozier, Hero, Bam. I don't remember who they had. Miami Heat might be all right on the low, y'all. I'm not saying they're gonna be top 3, but Miami Heat might, Norm Powell is a ball player, y'all. I'm not fronting on Norm Powell. He's a ball player. All right, let's look at their depth chart real quick. Wiggins, Ben. Oh, yeah, Khalil Weir. That's the kid they drafted. Okay, that's who I was trying to remember. This lineup is not bad. Yo, this lineup is not a slouch lineup, y'all. It's not a slouch lineup. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. It's not a slouch lineup. We'll see how they put it together. But I think the Heat might wind up being a top 6 team on the low, right? Atlanta's another team that made moves, right? Let's pull up their depth chart. Atlanta, they're a team that was able to get KP. If KP can play, They'll be dangerous. Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels, right? Oneka Okongwu. But I think Zachary Ricochet would get the start. They'll probably bring Okongwu off the bench. And I love this Okongwu kid. If there's a trade for Mitchell Robinson, I would get that kid. That kid right there can hoop. But they got a nice team too. And they got my man Luke Kennard, Duke Blue Devil. Yo, every team got like at least two Duke guys on it that's puts in work. It ain't my fault that Duke is just that great. But they got Jalen Johnson and Luke Kennard. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? Atlanta Hawks, they're going to be a team that you're going to have to watch out for too. Unfortunately, I know we don't like Trae Young, right? But yeah, they're going to be a team that seriously is going to be probably top 6. So right now, if you had to ask me what the top 6 teams in the East would be, I'm saying New York, Cleveland, Detroit, Orlando, Miami, Atlanta. That's my top 6. Boston, Indiana, they out of there. Sorry, Milwaukee, they out of there. But those teams to me would be the top 6. And honestly, just looking at those teams right there, I think the Knicks is better than all of them. Just especially if the Knicks play that right lineup, we could match Cleveland. We got Mitch and Towns to match Allen and Mobley. Right? They still don't got no defense on their perimeter in Cleveland. Then they trade Okoro. Lonzo Ball, yes, was a solid defender, but we don't know how well he'll be. He's just getting back off of his injury. We don't know how well defensively he can move laterally. He's also not going to be starting. They're going to be starting the same lineup with Strus. So they don't got no defense on their perimeter. That's why Indiana cooked them. So I still think we can cook Cleveland. I know they beat us in the regular season last year, but this is a whole new year, whole new team. You can't look at last year and say, oh, yeah, well, that's going to nope. It don't work like that in the NBA, especially in today's NBA. So I think us in Cleveland, I think we're the cream of the crop. But all the rest, Orlando is right behind us. And those other teams are going to be there as well in the top 6. So I think because the East is weak, I put the rosters against each other. I think we got the best center. Here's my second reason. I think we got the best center and we got the best point guard in the East. There's still, I feel, in this NBA, the recipe for a championship, you need a solid center. You need a really good point guard or a really good center and the inverse. So not to say your point guard and your center both have to be great. I'm just saying you need a really good point guard or a decent center or vice versa. We got both. We got the best center in the East. Now, Joel Embiid is coming back. We'll see what he brings to the table. But Karl-Anthony Towns was the best center in the East last year. I still think I'm hoping that Mike Brown considers keeping Towns at the 5. I just think that that's where it's the most quality move. I think that that's where you could get the most work done. So I'm very hopeful that, you know, that would be the case. But nonetheless, we still got the best center, best point guard in the East with Brunson. I think like my third reason too would be Mike Brown. He has helped offenses improve in the past. We've seen what he did in Sacramento. I think he can do the same thing in New York. We were the 5th ranked offense. There's no reason why we couldn't be the number 1 ranked offense, especially with more passing, more ball movement. We know that the Knicks, if I have my notes handy, right? This is my last year notes. We know that last year, anytime the Knicks had 30 assists or more, right, their record was 24-4. So when the Knicks had 30 assists or more, they were 24-4. So ball movement with this team is important. I think that Mike Brown helps pass. You know, you're going to see more passing, more cutting. I think that just helps the offense. If the Knicks have the number 1 rank, it's funny, right? I said this to all the guys that watch the channel. I said this before Tiz was fired, before the playoffs. I said that next year the Knicks would have the number 1 ranked offense in basketball. And I said it because I thought that they needed another year to gel. We know that the Brunson and Towns pick and roll was the best pick and roll in basketball early on in the season when they were running it. For whatever reason, they stopped running it. I want to see Mikal Bridges, Mitchell Robinson, 2-5 pick and rolls. I want to see, you know, 2-man game with Towns and Brunson, right? I want to see backdoor cuts with OG Anunoby, more cutting. And Mike Brown's going to unlock that. So this team could very well get to the number 1 ranked offense and more threes, right? More passing, more open threes. there's a lot more that can take place within the system of basketball. My fourth reason, right? And I know I'm moving fast, but and I'm gonna do another show on this because once we get, when we get the final confirmation, if Giannis is traded, we still waiting on some more moves that probably will be made, this summer. But right now, I got the Knicks definitely being the best team in the East, hands down. Also, the experts say so. So this is the New York Post. They got their power rankings, right? So of course, OKC the number one team. No one's going to debate that. They won the championships. They're the defending champions. OKC done the number one. Now, look at the legit finals contenders. They got Houston Rockets number 2, Cavs number 3, Knicks number 4. So they got us as the 4th ranked team, right behind Cleveland. I disagree. I think we're better than Cleveland. But if you want to keep Cleveland there, I'm not tripping. Keep Cleveland there, right? And let me see if this is something else. Oh no, this is something completely different. Also, Vegas has the odds. We're right behind Cleveland. Cleveland has a little bit more favorite odds to get to the finals than us, but we're right behind Cleveland in the odds. Okay, so, the experts got the Knicks as one of the top teams in the East. I think that we get there. I think the key is in the offense. Play a little bit of defense. Hopefully we can have a 10th ranked defense, top 10 ranked defense in the league. That'd be incredible. That's also kind of a requirement for championship team. Only 2 teams were ranked outside of number 10 in defense. I think that was the Denver Nuggets. I think they were like 16th in defense when they won it. And the Golden State Warriors were 13th in defense. This was in 2022 when they won the championship. So usually you need a really good defense and a really good offense. And I'm hoping that we can get to the top 10 rank in defense as well. But number one on offense, to me, especially in today's NBA, is very, very important, right? And the last reason why I want to say, I think even though now this might sound crazy, right? Because yes, I think we are missing that 2 guard. But if you really look at the Knicks, right, and where we are, I think we got the most complete roster in the East right now. Not trying to sound delusional, right? I don't do the delusional Knicks fan, but signing Jordan Clarkson and signing Yabusele filled 2 important roles that we needed. The 2 moves I said. I did a pod saying the 2 things we need. We need a real power forward. We got that in Yabusele, and a playmaking 2 guard that can score and make plays for others. We got that in Clarkson. We filled those 2 roles. Now, is Clarkson a starting 2 guard? I don't know. But I'm going to tell you this. Prematurely off the bat, Mikal Bridges signs the extension, right? My starting lineup would be Brunson, Mikal, OG, Yabusele, and Towns. If you want size, Yabusele gives you the flexibility with size, but you can play 5 out. I'm not sure if Mike Brown wants to play 5 out. Don't know what the system is going to be. But I think for Towns to keep his level of effectiveness on the offensive end, I think that Towns needs to be a center, not a power forward. Now, if Mike Brown comes with a new system that he can implement it where Towns gets the spacing with Mitch on the floor, I would love to see it. But you're also going to have to face Hacker Mitch. Right? So, and then now Towns has to guard power forwards. Right? So now if you're going up against Tatum, Towns, that's his matchup. I mean, of course, you're going to switch it and put him on Brown, but you get my drift. I love OG Anunoby being a small forward, though. That could benefit him. I don't like Mikal Bridges at the 2. To me, Mikal Bridges is a 3. So there's still some quagmire there. Mikal's going to have to show me that he can make plays for others. Hopefully he can. But I think Yabusele at the 4, that would be my starting lineup, right? Or my second lineup, which I know y'all ain't going to like, I would start Deuce at the 2. Deuce at the 2 with Bridges and OG. I know you're small. I know you lose rebounding, but you got that playmaker in Deuce. Then you could bring Kolek and Jordan Clarkson in off the bench, But that's just a whole nother idea. But my main lineup would be Yabusele. Let me see if you guys talking about in the chat, then we're going to move forward. Sizes Mitch and Cat, starting Mitch avoids Hacker Mitch. No, we seen the Hacker Mitch with Mitch out there. No, starting Mitch, you don't avoid the Hacker Mitch. When they started Mitch, you saw more Hacker Mitch. You didn't see less Hacker Mitch. You saw more. Knicks Nuggets in the finals. I would love that. I think we match up well against the Nuggets. Even with the Cam Johnson trade, I still love it. Because Cam Johnson is not somebody, like, even though, like, he's more, I think he's more dynamic than Michael Porter Jr. is. Like, he can do more to get buckets, but he's not going to back you down in the paint, right? That's not Cam Johnson's game. Yes, E. Gibson, yes. He signed with Memphis. Yep. Definitely signed with Memphis. Yeah, Ty Jerome signed with Memphis. Yep. I was talking about Tyus Jones, though. Tyus Jones signed with the Magic. Ty Jerome signed with Memphis. Yes. Bro, you don't believe it? Mitch is our center. Cat sucks at the 5. No, Knicks Yak. Okay, you know what? Just for Knicks Yak. I'm doing this for Knicks Yak. You have no evidence of Towns sucking at the 5. That's cap. That's not true. Karl Anthony Towns' best year of his career is at the 5, including with New York. Okay, so look, we got it on the screen. 2025, Towns averaging 24 and 12. Remember, 13, just under 13, right? 3.1 assists. In Minnesota, he was averaging 21 and 8 at the 4. The year before that, he averaged 20 and 8 at the 4. Go back the year prior. This is when he was a 5. He was averaging 24 and 10 as a 5. Then he averaged again just under 25 and 10 as a 5. Then before that, just under 27 and 10 as a 5. Then he averaged 24 and 12 as a 5. What are you talking about? Asked Minnesota. His best years was a 5. He was an all-star. He made the All-NBA third team. He barely made the all-star team as a power forward in the West. All his other all-stars came when he was a center. If you want to talk about team success, those Minnesota Timberwolves teams were not good until Tibbs came. Salute to Coach Tibbs. I'm giving him a New York City salute. Coach Tibbs went over there, took them to the playoffs the 1 year, because guess what happened? Towns got a real power forward in Taj Gibson. So what I'm saying to you is that Towns does not suck at the 5. Whoever's telling you that Towns is a power forward, I don't know who you're listening to. I'm just telling you right now, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. The reason why Towns is better at the 5 is because he has spacing. When you put him at the 4, there's no spacing. Rudy Gobert is in the middle. So now Towns just becomes a three-point shooter. He becomes a spot-up shooter. You lose the dynamic Towns in the paint. How are you going to put Towns in the paint with Mitchell Robinson on the floor? Mitchell Robinson stays in the dunker spot. Only time he's not in the dunker spot is when he's setting screens, because remember, Mitchell Robinson is a very aggressive offensive rebounder. So all you guys that keep saying Cat at the 4, you don't have no evidence for it. You're just following a narrative that I don't know who created the narrative, but it's Cap. Towns is a center, and his numbers show you it. All-NBA third team twice as a center. He barely was an all-star as a power forward. At the 5, he's the best center in the East. Hands down. Hands down. Now we got a guy at the 4. We got a coach that is, flexible, hopefully, that's willing to try different lineups at the 4. Put Yabusele at the 4. If you want Towns, you want another big guy out there that could play defense, Yabusele can guard 5s, right? You get the best of both worlds. But if you put Mitchell Robinson on the floor, you lose spacing. You shrink the floor for Towns. He's easier to defend. And then now you're going to have a perimeter guy on Towns, which Towns struggle against smaller defenders. Towns is not better at the power forward. I don't know where y'all guys is getting this from. Who's telling y'all that? Who's telling y'all that? Let's see. Yabu shoots 3s. Mitch don't. Facts. And he's shooting 70% from the free throw line. I'm with you, Sadu Berry. Cat, Yabu, OG at the 3, Mikal at the 2, JB at that's the lineup. Sorry. I know you guys don't want to hear it, but that is the lineup. Also, the reason why I said Deuce in that alternative lineup to start J-Tap, I'm just giving an alternative, but I want Clarkson off the bench. I don't want to start Clarkson. I want Clarkson to come off the bench because we need that offensive firepower. When you need a bucket, I want him to be that guy. Let's see. Yabu can stretch the floor with his shooting. I think we will be playing a much faster pace. But yeah, possibly. We'll see. We'll see what Mike Brown big. But it doesn't have to be so fast, right? Faster could be, 15th pace. But it doesn't have to be number one in pace, right? I don't think we're going to go to number one in pace. But hey, you never know. You never know. I just don't know where y'all getting the cat at the 4. I just don't. You don't have no metric for cat at the 4. You don't. And don't bring up team success because Minnesota had a better team when he went to power forward. You cannot use it. If they would have had Ant-Man, right? Think about what I'm saying. When Cat was a 5, they would have had Ant-Man. They would be better team. He didn't have nobody to play with. He had a young Zach LaVine, a young Wiggins, right? Even though Wiggins was getting buckets. But those guys wasn't ready. That wasn't it, right? Once he had the team that one year, they did win 46 games and went to the playoffs that one year under Coach Tibbs, right? But the team he had with Ant-Man, with Gobert and the McDaniels, those teams were way better than the other men. So y'all guys want to use team success. No, individually, he's better at the 5. And also at the 5, the Knicks had great team success. So you can have great success with Towns at the 5. He just needs a real power forward to go with him. Respect that caveat, all right? Now let me move forward. I'm gonna go to comment of the week. All right. So the comment of the week, there's a couple of comments of the weeks. I'm just gonna use one. I'm just gonna do one. Let me see. Okay, so I'm gonna do this one here. Who is a better fit for the Knicks shooting guard position? And this was a poll that I did. We're gonna talk about it in Word on the Street, right? It was the choices was between Mikal Bridges and Derek White. Who is a better 2 guard, right, for the team? Derek White or Mikal Bridges? Okay, so I'm just gonna say Chi. Chi says kind of a flip of a coin choice. Bridges has a bit more offensively. White is a bit better defensively. Depends on what you're looking for. I agree with that. Don Frank says Mikal has durability and overall consistency. Derek is a take your heart type of shooter, but where he excels in offense, Mikal excels in defense. I think we've only scratched the surface of Nova Energy, which tilts towards Mikal. I would not chase the shiny things and build team identity. First off, that I'm gonna stick with the second comment because the first comment I kind of agree with. The second comment I'm gonna focus on that. This whole notion of building, it's making me sick. The Knicks don't build anything. We haven't built nothing. The minute we have consistency, we change the team up. There's no building. So if we had to make the move for Derek White, I would go and get Derek White. So this consistency and we need to stay the same, that's just cap. I don't know where you guys are getting that from. This team changes all the time. Every year, there's major changes to this team. We talking about starters, right? We're not talking about just bench guys. We talking about starters. So if I can get Derek White, because I'm gonna raise my hand. I think that Derek White, I'm not saying he's a better player than Mikal Bridges. I think he's a better fit for what we need at the 2 guard. This whole Bridges is a better defender than Derek White, I don't know about that. I think that they have 2 different styles of defense. I think Derek White is better on the ball, especially against playmaking ball handlers. So I think Derek White can guard point guards better. I'm just gonna flat out say it. To me, now, yes, okay, he's in Boston, top 5 defense. It looks great. Everything looks great when you're in the top 5 defense. I get it. But even still, I think just when you look at his one-on-one ability, blocking shots, all of those things that he does, I think that him and Brunson would be a whole lot more dynamic than he and Bridges. And once again, I believe that Bridges is a 3. He is not a shooting guard. A shooting guard is somebody that can also be a combo guard and play point guard at times and take the pressure off of the ball handler, especially when they're pressing at 94 feet. In the regular season, you don't have to worry about it as much because only a few teams press like that in the regular season. But once you get to the postseason and you're going up against creative teams like Indiana or defenses like OKC, those teams are going to look to press. Mikal Bridges does not look comfortable handling the ball in pressure. So to me, Mikal Bridges is not even a fair comparison because I think that Mikal Bridges is a 3. I think that's his natural position. As a Knick, he's out of position. So maybe Mike Brown could create new wrinkles, I don't know, to make it better. I think that you need another, especially to my guys that don't want Brunson to dribble, right? If you don't want Brunson to dribble, you got to put another guard out there like Derek White. Because Brunson will dribble. All right? With Bridges out there. Bridges ain't trying to dribble. He's not. So the whole building to, we need to build chemistry, that's cap. Because I'm telling you right now, if Mikal doesn't sign this extension favorably, a favorable extension that both sides can agree on, he's up out of here. Bye, he and Mitch. If I can get Derek White, I am getting Derek White. Period. And if the price tag is Mikal Bridges, I love you, Mikal, but that's the guy that we need to go with Brunson. All that Nova energy, get that out of here. This is not no Nova. No other team is doing it where we putting all the college guys together. No, we need to do what's best for the team. Okay, so if I can get Derek White, I am making the deal happen. All right? But I think Derek White and Mikal Bridges, I'm not going to say Mikal is a better, I think Mikal is a better all-around offensive player than Derek White because Derek White is not really the shooter in the mid-range that Mikal is. But Derek White also has more point guard duties than Mikal. So he's looking to pass the ball and, get guys involved. And we actually talked about this maybe on last week's pod. We compared the numbers. I'm not going to do all of that now. But all I'm saying, the building and all of that's just cap. There's no building nothing. We will make tweaks if we need to make a tweak. And this is the tweak that we need to make. That's all. The first comment I agree with, though, White is better defensively for guarding for what we need at that position. But Mikal, offensively, he's an assassin. And no two guard could really guard him, especially if he's in his bag in the mid-range. But I'm willing to sacrifice that. But that's all for the comments of the week. This other comment, I'm not even going to get into it, but I'm going to move on because I don't want to make this too much longer than what it is. Salute to everybody that just joined. This is episode 5 of the 2025 all season. This week inside the Knicks. I'm talking about all the hot topics between June 30th to July 6th, all right? We're going to end on a word on the street. Let's see. White is a better playmaker. Yeah, that's HRM. That's all I'm saying. And look, now we got Mike Brown, right? So Mike Brown, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't mind having the other ball handler out there. Ooh, Crimsdad said Derek White is greater than Bridges. I didn't expect that from you, Crimsdad. Right. Yeah, I do agree with that too. Derek had a much better team and game plan, right? And coach to have perform at his best. Now that's a fact. I might see. This is why I'm not saying Derek White's a better player than Mikal Bridges. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying for what we need, like if we didn't have OG Anunoby, great. Mikal could be a 3. But because we have OG and OG's our 3, right? And now if I can go get a guy like Derek White, I'm going to go do it. Sorry. Hey, to all you Nova boys. Hey, we love the Nova boys. Hey, man, it is what it is. Charles says, I'm hearing delusion. What delusion? What's delusional, Charles? Please clarify. Both are good two-way guys. Facts. Both are really good players. I would say that Mikal Bridges is better than Derek White. Like, just as a if we're talking about basketball player, I'm taking Mikal as a better player. But for the 2 guard position, I'm taking Derek White. But if I just need, if I had like all positions open and I need the best player, I'm taking Mikal Bridges. Hands down, right? I'm not trying to dump on Mikal Bridges. And like Maxine says, let's get the likes up. I'm getting ready to jump on Word Street, but before I do, like I told you guys, I want to share with you guys what happens when you join the channel. If this thing loads up, hold on, give me 2 seconds. Let it load up. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to talk about the channel membership. Like I keep mentioning, salute to all the channel members that's in the building. HIN, Yuri, J-Tap, Prim's Dad. I'm going to try this again. When you click on the join button, right, you'll notice that we got 2 packages. I'm only going to share with you 2 today. I'm the starter Knicks fan today, and tell you what you get. Earlier, I mentioned the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server. So once you join the channel, you get access to this Discord server, right, which is a great place to be, especially if you dig in the content and you want to get more access to me. I'm in there. We have 24/7 Knicks chats, 24/7 NBA chat. We talk all sports from boxing to baseball. We up in there. So even during the summer months, we're going to have a lot to talk about. And of course, you know, on the Knicks side, NBA side, all summer long, we talking NBA, and we got Summer League, all those good things happening. It's the best way to extend the conversation with me. Become a member, get inside that Knicks Tape Madness Discord server where we gets it in. That's not the only thing you get when you join the channel. And also, I don't do the free-for-all Discord. No offense to that. I just don't want to deal with trolls and people just, you know, nagging and doing all types of weird stuff. I'd rather deal with the people who genuinely support the channel. And it just makes for a great server because we just have great conversations that everybody in there is serious and they just want to talk hoops. And trust me, we're going to disagree, but it never gets too crazy because like I said, it's a community of serious people. Also, members get the cool badges, like you see the stars, you see HRM with his star, Crim's dad, you know, Yuri, all these people with their stars. Salute to you guys. That's just a great way for members to be identified on the channel, right? So we can see who you are and support. Members only live chats. So whenever if I do a show Wednesday, usually when I do the after midnight shows, those are member only live chats. Or usually when I have to do like a 10 keys, like I do 10 reasons why the Knicks will beat, you know, Boston, stuff like that. When I do shows like that where I'm really going in and trying to, you know, deliver some message and deliver the content, I like to focus on the content and then just have my members influence it because sometimes I can get lost in the chat because I love talking basketball with you guys. So when we do the members only live chats, it'll just be opportunities for you guys to still give your input on the show, even though it's really just to focus on what I'm talking about on those shows. Also, we got priority reply to comments. So like even in the members live chats, even in a chat like this, which is a subscriber only chat, you know, if you're not a member, if you're not, you know, joining the channel, at least subscribe and hit the like button. At least we could do that, right? So, you know, definitely, you know, hit that subscribe button. But in this chat here, all you guys are subscribers. Salute to all you guys. But I still can see the members. So, like when Crim Dad's his star comes up, I automatically get to see what he's posting. And Crim's dad, you know, he always is coming for my head. So I got to watch out what he says anyway. Got to make sure he's not, you know, coming for my neck. But you get your badge, and that's a great right to identify you. And I always are looking for the members' chats, even on the surveys, the polls, like we're getting ready to look through. Anytime I see a members chat, I make sure I respond. That's what priority member reply is. Also, I got this show called the Unfiltered Thoughts series. I'm getting ready to record one. If not after this live, definitely tonight I'll record one late night and have it for you in the morning time. But basically that's a series where I talk about content that I necessarily don't want to do a live video for, or a video that's just open to the public. I got some interesting stuff I want to talk about. So be on the channel members, be on the lookout for the next wave of Unfiltered Thoughts. Also, you know, I post basketball games. You're getting ready to go to a lot. Oh, Max, should we take out the tripod tomorrow? Because we supposed to be going to the park tomorrow. Should we take it out? She don't know. Okay, I'm gonna let Maxine decide on that. But hey, members, you might get some special footage of me hooping tomorrow. But I just got to remember to take the tripod out. And so be on the lookout for that. I play, you know, even on the channel now, like there's old videos of me hooping and things of that nature. So members they always get more in terms of content that than what the regular content is there for. All the let me see. Yeah, that's pretty much all the other status updates. Be on the lookout for that. And like I said, I may take the camera out tomorrow when I go hoop. Members always get shouted out. Salute to everybody. Salute to all the members like I've been doing. And members also get a discount on merch, like the merch that I was showing you guys earlier on shop.thisweekinsidetheknicks.com, right? So that's what happens when you join the channel. I do appreciate all the members, man. All the members. What J-Tap says, was anyone at the Knicks Twitter Day? That was today? Was that an actual event? Nah, I don't know. I just got back in town last night, so I don't know what's going on. Yes, Crims, that I always gotta tell you to stop bothering me because you always bother me. All right, let's go into some of these surveys so we can wrap it up. I'm gonna start right here. So Knicks fans, how do you feel about the latest signings? Jordan Clarkson and Gershon Yabus. I gotta pronounce this. Now that he's a Knick, I gotta get the pronunciation of this guy's name right. Gershon Yabusele. I think I got the Yabusele down, Pat. I think I did that. I'm gonna say I love both moves, man. Salute to Leon Rose. I love both moves. Like I said earlier, I think those two, they fill a glaring need, what we needed. Ball handling, playmaking at the 2-guard position, and solid power forward that could start. That's exactly what we got. This was the poll that I was talking about earlier that I read from Comment of the Week. Who is the better fit for the shooting guard position on the Knicks? Mikal Bridges or Derek White? I'm going to say Derek White. Wow, 415 votes. And it's 50-50. Could you believe it? Wow, 50-50. That's how good this question. I don't think we've seen a 50-50 poll all year. That's crazy. Okay. Well, so the community is split. And of course, this was my quick thought on Mike Brown when he was hired. I was on the road when this happened, so I said, let me just do a quick post. With Mike Brown as the new Knicks head coach, how confident are you that he can lead them to the finals? Honestly, I don't know. I'm going to put slightly confident because I don't really know. I don't want to say I'm not confident because I want to give him a shot. So I'm going to say slightly confident. 327 votes. 64% said very confident. So a lot of you guys are digging Mike Brown. Salute to Mike Brown. I wish him the best. I do think it's finals or bust. I don't care if we got a new coach. I think that based on the way the East is situated, based on a lot of the things that we talked about earlier, there's no reason why this team is not in the finals next year. 29% say slightly confident. I think I'm with that crowd right now, and 8% say they're not confident. Damn, the 8% are just real. They're like, screw it. This is how we really feel. The Daily Knicks stated that the Knicks hired the same coach when they signed Mike Brown to replace Coach Tibbs. Do you agree? I'm going to say no, they're not the same, right? So 86% agree with me. Out of 239 votes, they say no, they're not the same. 14% say they're similar. I explained that earlier in the segment. I think that, Mike Brown, he's more of a offensive guy. Tibbs is more of a defensive guy. So I wouldn't say that that's the same or similar. I would say that's definitely two different philosophies. Now, with Mike Brown entering his first year as the Knicks coach, a new starting lineup change seems to be imminent. Josh Hart is likely to move to the bench. Who should replace him? I'm going to say Yabusele. Wow, only 11% of you guys think Yabusele of the 147 votes. By the way, you guys can still vote on these surveys if you hadn't already. But 147 votes, 11% say Yabusele, 10% say Clarkson, 16% say Deuce. Okay, so this is some Deuce people. But 64% believe that Mitchell Robinson is the guy. I wonder, who are you listening to make you think that Mitch should be the guy who started? But that's all I got for you on Word of the Street, man. So, man, I want to big up yourself, all the people in the building, for rocking with me up until this point in time. If you didn't get a chance to vote for any of those surveys, you can go to the community section. Now, Let's see. E. Gibson says, I gave Clarkson plus Yabusele signing a B+. It bolsters our depth. Facts. Gives us more scoring punch. Neither are very good defenders, though. Nah, Yabusele is not a bad defender. I would say he's more of a defender than Clarkson. I wouldn't put him and Clarkson in the same boat, E. Gibson. Oh, man, J-Tap. I'm butchering his name. Sorry, man. Oh, my God. J-Tap, all the content creators had a basketball tournament. Knicks Fan TV won it. Wait, all of the Knicks creators, they had one? When did they do that? And how do I sign up for it? I would like to be a part of the content creator tournament. Has anyone seen Yabu play defense? If you say you have, you lying because no one has ever seen him play defense. He's not a bad defender. I'm not saying he's a stopper. He gonna stop anyone, but I wouldn't say he's a bad defender. And remember, he also played a lot of 5 last year too. So, you know, I'm not sure if you've seen him playing the 5, but that's a whole different position. But damn, I wish I could have been in that basketball tournament, J-Tap. HRM said, I posted a highlight in the Discord. Oh, Yabusele? That's how you say it? Yabusele? Yabusele, okay. I'm gonna check that out in the Discord, HRM. Next year, they're gonna have one again. JB and Hart will be there. Yeah? So so where, is it a Knicks thing? Is it on like the Knicks? Who's organizing it? Who's organizing it? I'm curious to know who's organizing it. Because next year I definitely will be there. Do I get to bring my team? Because if I could bring my team, that's going to be even way better. So yeah, let me know. I'm coming with a squad. Just let you know. And they may not all be content creators. Matter of fact, none of them might not be content creators. But yeah, we definitely will hoop for sure. Guaranteed. Let's see. But man, I'm gonna give you guys a big time salute, man. Oh, you could bring your own team? Okay, yeah. So next year we in there for sure, guaranteed. I could bring my own team. That's all I needed to hear. But I want to appreciate you guys for rocking with me. That's all I got for you guys on this episode of This Week Inside the Knicks. I want to give a big time salute to all you guys for participating in the chat. Salute to my man JJP NYC, my man J-Tap, channel member, Discord, Discord, Knicks Tape Madness Discord server, channel member J-Tap, and channel mod. Salute to you, J-Tap. I do appreciate you, Maxine. I see you in the building. Trying everybody get the likes up. If you didn't smash the like button, smash it on the way out. Big time salute to E. Gibson. Big time salute to HRM the Great. I appreciate you. Knicks Tape Madness Discord server, channel member. Crim's dad. Of course, Crim's dad. We can't forget Crim's dad, even though he gets on my nerves. Salute to you, Crim's dad. And tell Crims I said hello. Salute to, who else was in there? Charles Turner. Towns is not dynamic. What? You said that. Wait, hold on. Towns is not dynamic, Charles. What? Charles, you tripping, man. I'm gonna have to catch you next time, Charles. But salute to you, Charles. I do appreciate you from attending. So, salute to Nick's Yak, right? Salute to you. I do appreciate you as well. Salute to Big Dog Talk Sports. If you were in the building, salute to you, my good friend. Definitely check his channel out. Of course, Randu. Darlene was in there early. I remember Darlene. Salute to Sadu Barry. I do appreciate you for agreeing what I'm saying about Karl Anthony Towns. I don't know where these guys getting Towns at the 4. I don't know where you guys getting that from. But man, salute to all you guys. So many names to mention. But that's all I got for you guys today. And until next time, let's go Knicks. And I see you guys this Friday for the Knicks Call-Up Show. We out.